think I love coming to Holland. Or the Netherlands, let me be proper. It's one of my favourite destinations. It really is. I have a lovely publisher here. Look at the way I'm being treated. I've got two delightful young ladies following me around, asking, do I want anything? Everybody here has such a wonderful sense of humour, which I love. My publishers constantly play practical jokes on me. And this day here there is nothing
There
like
is nothing
this
like it. There's
anywhere else
nothing
in the
like
world, I'm here to tell you. And it's such fun.
Yeah, I write about a lot of books, about a lot of authors, but this is really unique.
Oh,
And we have a Facebook group on children's books, and we specialize in books. We are always searching for books for children who have difficulty reading and don't enjoy reading as much as the average kid. And Berto here has difficulty reading, so what does he do? He listens to your books.
all right.
And they're only €5.
That's really. Let's put that price up. No, that's terrific. That's really great. I mean, it is one of the ongoing themes that I strike. We had three yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was. Three different. They're all girls who were all dyslexic.
Yes.
And said, I was able to read after I read it. And it doesn't work for every form of dyslexia, obviously. But I said, but now you can read. And they said yes.
Yes, they do. My children, my son, he didn't enjoy reading, but he loved this book. So, that's why you started this.
I did it for my son, who didn't like reading. I mean, it was 20 short stories. And the character was based on him. So I thought that I might fool him. He was only 12 at the time. But he realised that reading could be fun. He didn't overnight turn into a bookworm, but he started reading and he realised how much enjoyment there was. And since then, it's a constant theme that when I'm touring and I'm meeting people and I'm signing, constantly getting parents and kids saying, I didn't like reading, and now I do. And I mean, in two cases, very early on, I had kids tell me my schoolwork has improved. I've gone from the bottom of the class to the top because I can now read properly.
This is incredible.
It is absolutely. It's very humbling.
Yeah.
But also, when I stop and think about it, I mean, yesterday, Sana and I, with one particular girl, we were both getting very teary. Sana was behind me, and I didn't see. I'm glad I didn't see you because I would have gone if you had, if I had. It just, you just think, I set out to entertain people, that's all. I never realised that I could actually change people's lives. And
that's what you do.
It's the most awe-inspiring feeling. It really is. And it's constantly reinforced. So I don't know why it is.
It's the character. It's you can compare yourself with him.
I guess
adventures.
Every now and again I say, I guess I do know what I'm doing.
We think but he has a question for you too.
Yeah, sure.
What is your favorite character in the
What's
book?
my favorite character? Well, I'll answer you for realistically because I'm always asked that, and I usually just say Trek, the horse, because that's an easy answer. I think really it's got to be Holt. I love Holt. And I thought, for years, Holt was proof that I am a genius because he's such a good character. And I was working on my 5th book and a kid from America emailed me saying, how did you come up with the character of Holt? And I was about to answer and I thought, oh my God, Holt is actually based, and I didn't know I was doing it, on my 6th grade teacher.
Oh, do you understand?
Yeah.
Physically, he's similar, but the effect on Will's life that he had is paralleled in my life, and I just went, oh my God, you know.
Oh yeah, goosebumps.
So yeah, so really he is. Who's your favourite character?
I think Arthur.
Who?
Arthur.
Uh,
Arthur.
Sometimes the names change between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Arnold.
Oh, Arno. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Horace. He's called in the English version.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know why they changed
oh.
it. Yes. He's an excellent character. Actually, I like the 10th book, the Kaiser van Nihonja.
Oh, he just got these today. He has listened to a few of them.
Right.
So today he got these and that, and he would like you to say, love you to sign it. But the listening is, it's very, good for him. But
That's excellent. That's great. I mean, I hadn't thought of that side of things actually. You know, that's. But in that book, is it among there? Have we got that?
No,
one?
it's.
What's it?
I don't have my glasses on. I thought it would be.
Oh,
16,
Mackendor,
17,
yeah, that's Mackendor again. Roscoe, that's a good book. I like that one.
Do you have your favorite?
Yeah, obviously there are some I mean, I love them all, but that one I really do like. There's terrific. I think there are scenes in that expand the character of the horse, strangely enough, of Trek.
Okay.
And I particularly like that. And also there's a scene in it that my wife suggested, so I like it for that reason.
It's a family company.
Yeah.
Your daughter is involved as well.
No, she's not really involved in them. I've got 2 daughters, and they both currently have books published, which is
Oh.
the younger daughter, the middle child. She was published before I was. She wrote a book when she was a teenager, which is a really lovely book. It's a sort of a coming of age, or dealing with death in the family, and beautiful book. And then she wrote another about 5 years later when she was in her 20s. And then she had 3 kids, 3 boys. She didn't have time to write for many years, and she's only started again recently. And her third book has been released, and it's really good. She's a beautiful writer. The other daughter is a stand-up comedian.
Oh, really?
And she's got quite a high profile in Australia. And of course, publishers went to her and said, write a book, you know, so she did a memoir, which is very funny. So the 2 of them have their books. I actually did a very mean thing to my son. I propped their 2 books up on our side table and left a gap between them. I put a sign in there saying, this space reserved for Michael's book. So.
You had another question.
Yeah. What was your favorite book to read when you were a child?
When I was a child, I don't think you'd know them. There are a series of books from England. Well, there's 2 answers to that question. When I was younger, there was a series of books, English books, about a character called Biggles, who was a fighter pilot. And then as I got to about 12 years old, my real all-time favourites are written by an English author called C.S. Forrester, and it's about a character called Horatio Hornblower, who was a naval officer during the wars against Napoleon.
Okay.
And they're fabulous. They're fabulous. I doubt that they would be on recorded books, but terrific books, terrific stories, great characters. You know, and they're probably my all-time favourites.
We asked the members of our group what they would like to ask you, and one of the children came up with a very funny question. And is there going to be a cookbook?
Is there going to be a cookbook?
Don't you think that's a fantastic idea?
What a good idea. Actually, we have been tossing around the idea.
This is a great idea.
That we would do a Ranger's Apprentice companion book, so with hints on archery, on tracking,
Yes,
and we
yeah.
did say in that, and we should do
Cooking,
camp
yes.
cooking. Yeah, it's a great idea. Great idea.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Because the children they identify themselves with the characters.
With the food.
And what are they eating in the various
I
parts of
I like cooking, right? And my daughter, the comedian, says she loves reading my descriptions of meals. It makes her hungry. You know? so yeah, it is a bit of a part of their life, their food, their camp cooking. It's a very good idea. I think we're going to get round to doing this companion book soon. I guess in that we'll have to have quite a.
And then you have to have a special thanks to the Facebook
to the
group in
people
Holland.
in the Netherlands, yeah.
Are there any black characters in your book or with ethnic backgrounds?
There are no black, but there are a lot of North African, a lot of Arab. No black because they really weren't in that
No, in
that area. You know, I find it interesting that Hollywood now always has to put an African American actor in there. And okay, I can understand why they're doing it, and I think it's a good thing to do, but it's not very authentic, really. You know, when
these books maybe not.
But I have made sure. Well, there are Japanese, and there are Arabic, and in fact, Arabic characters. I had a letter from a woman in England whose son, they were Muslim, and I had a scene early in one of the books where an assassin tries to kill a Vandal, and he's captured, and he is from what I call Arada, North Africa, and the cult he was with was based on the original group that created the name Assassin. They were they used to take hashish and become, so it was hashish.
Oh,
And they act as murderers while they were under the drug. And when he's captured, and this boy was reading it, he was 11 years old, and they bring him in. I can't remember what name I'd given him, but it was obviously an Arabic name. And this little boy was distraught because he said, I'm so sick of this. The bad guy's always a Muslim. And she wrote to me, and I wrote back and said, look, the guy, I explained the guy was from North Africa. I said, I don't have religion in my books. I don't want religion in my books. I have a couple that I've made up, but I won't do. I think religion causes too many troubles in the world, to be honest. And I said, the guy was from this part of the world. He had to be called something like this. And I said, if you check the rest of the books, and in this book too, there are plenty of, if you like, Muslim characters who are among the heroes. And in fact, there's more of them, and I listed them all, than there is this one group of killers, you know. And I was really pleased because she wrote back and said the little boy was so much happier.
But do you answer all the questions fans ask?
If they're sent on email, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I
How
won't-
many hours a day do you work?
Not a lot, you know, because they tend to come in when a book first comes out.
Okay.
And then there are...
What time does it cost you to write this book? How long did you?
What was it?
How many months did you write?
I write now because now I can do it full time, so I can plan my time. I take about take a couple of months to plan a book. I get an idea and start putting, for the storyline, and then I start putting notes down. Not all day, every day, but I'll sit down for 10 minutes and go, oh, this would be good, or an idea will occur. For example, a horse race, that'd be good. Or a ship sinks and they have to, just put those down. When I've got a whole lot of events like that, I form them into a storyline. I then think I've got to sit down and start work now. Form them into a storyline, and then I write a 4-page outline, which is 1 page beginning,
Yes.
2 pages development,
Yes.
3 pages end. So beginning, middle, end. And
Whoa.
in that ratio of 1, 2, 1, if you can fit your story into that ratio, you've got a very balanced story. It's a film technique. And from there, I get to where I've really got to get to work, and I sit down and I plan what happens in each chapter. Maybe 6 lines just saying what the main events are. And I print both those out and I keep them by me, and then I start to work. And I write Monday to Friday, I write in the mornings, and it takes me about 2.5 months to write the book. So that comes after maybe 2 months.
And that's the first draw, and then you send it to an editor?
And then it goes to my editor, yeah. Usually I'm editing myself as I go. So I don't usually I very rarely have to do a second draft. I'll do some changes. Sometimes my editor, who's my Australian editor, will come up with really good ideas in structure, where she says, well, this should be moved to here, and I trust her. She's got very good instincts. But yeah, total would be about, I guess, planning 2 months, but not full time, and then writing 2 months full time. 2.5 months.
And was it an instant success? Was it an instant success? So I have a cough, so
yeah, pretty quickly. I mean,
not like Harry Potter.
I wasn't aware that Harry Potter was around. I mean, I only heard about Harry Potter when it was successful. So, no, look, it went. Yes, it was pretty well straight off. I think because of Harry Potter, to a degree, a whole lot of kids had started reading, and then Harry Potter kind of finished, and they were looking for something else. I think I was very lucky with the timing.
That's true.
That we had Harry Potter and not Game of Thrones, but
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, exactly. And this was sort of like a lighter version of Lord of the Rings that kids could read, you know. So, I mean, the first book, the second book that I wrote was on the New York Times best-selling list, and the first book wasn't. The second book was, and every book since then has been on there. The current one is on there this week. It was released.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So in total, I've been on the New York Times bestseller list about 81 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is, it's a really, something I can be really proud of.
Maybe we have to close this because your editor thinks you should. Well, the main question, I think you know what's coming. Why is there not a movie yet, and when is it coming? Because my daughter, she's now 20, and she was, Mom, there's going to be a movie.
It's been
and
10
she
years.
Was, yes.
Why not? We've just been so unlucky. Also, it takes this long to get a movie made. What has happened? We were a month away from starting shooting.
No.
And the global financial crisis hit, and all the money went.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Then.
Because my daughter then said 10 years ago or something, Mom, he's going to play Holt, he's going to play Will, he's going to... The characters were actually...
They've been casting, they cast young kids in England. Then it took ages for the producers to get the money together, and about 18 months ago, they were very excited. They rang, they did an email, they said, we've just done a deal in China with investors, and we've raised $500 million, and the first $100 million is going to Grijze Apprentice. In the meantime, they could have made it earlier, but they felt that the minimum budget was $100 million to do it properly. And that's a cut-off point. 80 million in Hollywood is a cut-off. They had funding for 80 million half a dozen times, but they didn't think they could do a decent job that way. China, suddenly they had the money, and it was all official. It was signed and sealed, contracts signed. Chinese government gave their approval, and a month later, all the investors withdrew.
Why?
Don't know.
So every time in these last 10 years, you got excited.
This was it. This was going to be it. Currently, and as the producer said, I met with him almost a year ago, and he said it cost me a year of my life and $1 million. Yeah, and when they did it, you can't sue them because Chinese courts just go tough luck. He has the rights up until August, and he's pretty sure he's going to have the money together by then. If he doesn't, I've got a second string to the bow now. There's a Los Angeles agent who's really hot to trot and said I can sell these 2 series.
Brother Band.
Brother Band and Grijze Jager.
What's it called in English?
The Ranger's Apprentice. It's the Grey Hunter.
Yeah,
So, if the original producer does not have the money together as of August, the rights revert to me, and we'll go to this Los Angeles agent who is 100% sure she'll get them financed.
Well, it will be an immediate success because my daughter is 20. She's still a fan. She will definitely
Well,
go
the
to see
beauty
the
of it is,
So
yeah.
10 years of generations will go and see the movie.
People will go, and that's what we're saying. You know, we've sold 15 million of these books. That's a lot of people who will go and see the movie. You know.
Yeah.
So the beauty of it, from my lights, will be a whole lot of new people will go to that
Yes.
movie too, and then they'll buy the books.
Yeah.
So look.
Fingers crossed.
But getting a movie done, somebody once said to me, you can die of old age, when somebody in Hollywood said, yes, we're going to do this. You know, and that's true. Yeah.
But
So,
looking back at all your success, what's the thing you are most proud of?
the fact that so many kids have started reading because of me. So many kids who are dyslexic and who just didn't want to read. That makes me. I mean, that's. I
Well,
love
you
the
have
fact
2
that.
proofs here, my son, my children, and
Yeah.
he loves the books.
The being on the New York Times bestseller list, that makes me proud. But this is something different. That you look and think I've changed people's lives, and much for the better.
I think my daughter, the oldest one, has read the whole series 10 times, literally 10 times.
Good on. Have we got to go? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
we
we
better
gotta
make a
go.
move
Yeah.
because we've got to tell them we're changing it. So, if you'll excuse me.